There we go. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Maryland Business Roundtable for Education Facebook Live session for Workforce Wednesday. My name is Carrie Pannoni, and I am the Next Generation Scholars Program Coordinator for Allegany County. I'm excited to welcome our guest today, Mr. Matt Shipway. He is with the Allegany County Government Community Services Offices, and he is the Workforce Development Specialist. Hi, Matt. Welcome.
How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We're super excited to get a sneak peek and virtual tour of the Western Maryland Works today. And by the way, I want to congratulate you and everyone at Allegany County Government for their recognition today. I saw the post from the Regional Manufacturing Institute of Maryland recognizing Allegany County Government's Western Maryland Works for their workforce development as a champion for 2020. Congrats.
Yeah, that was really neat. That was a really neat honor. They recognize, the RMI recognizes a champion in they consider it a champion in manufacturing, and they recognize one for each county in the state. So we were lucky to get recognized for that, and then there will be a People's Choice Award down the road sometime, when people can sort of vote on that. So yeah, that was really cool to be recognized for this project. It's been a long time working on the project, so it's nice to see that.
Awesome. Great. Well, maybe we should begin the show today with you starting out telling us, what is a makerspace?
Okay. Well, Western Maryland Works is it's a makerspace and more. Some of this stuff that you're going to see today, to sort of backtrack a little bit, when the county administrator, this was in mid 2018, county administrator at the time, Brandon Butler, was really interested in getting a facility that was dedicated to workforce issues, various different issues, training, business startup, and also technology. And we found a good location, a 30,000 square foot warehouse that used to be a food distribution warehouse, and have been doing ongoing renovations and fixing it up, modernizing it. Unfortunately, COVID kind of hit right in a weird spot there and shut everything down. So we're still trying to recover some of that from that. So what Western Maryland Works is a partnership with Allegheny College of Maryland. They're also a tenant here, and you'll see some of that later on. I'll talk a little bit about it. But the makerspace part of that is a lot of schools and places around the country have what they call maker spaces, usually within their libraries, where it's a facility or a place where people can make things. I mean, that's the simplest kind of way to explain it.
Sure.
The maker space here has equipment available that people can use in order to make projects. You will see here in a few minutes when we start moving around, we have 3D printers, which use filament to print objects. We have a laser printer, which is not the laser printer that most people think of when they hear laser printer. They're thinking of a regular printer. This is actually called a glow forge, and it etches into wood and plastics, and it actually cuts through the material. We have routers, which carve out into wood or metal, vinyl cutters, all these different sort of maker technology products that can be used to create things. The goal for the maker space is for the public to pay a membership fee. There might be scholarships available. We haven't opened that part yet just because of the shutdown and everything, and we're still working on it. But people could pay a membership, and they'd be able to come in and use the 3D printers, the lathe, the mills, the different machines that we have for their own projects that they're working on. Some people have, Etsy shops or places where they make some type of a craft or they make something that they sell. And a lot of times they might need better equipment, but they don't necessarily have the funds to invest thousands of dollars into something that's a higher quality. There are 3D printers that people might have at their home, but they can't necessarily create a product that's big enough or at a fast enough speed. So people could pay a membership to come in here and use this equipment at their, at their leisure. There will be a card entry system. They would get a card. They could come in and use it. No real instruction. It's not necessarily a place where you would pay a membership to come in and learn how to use a 3D printer or learn how to use a router. There is the idea that someone sort of has that innate knowledge of what they're doing. There will be some tutorials because the equipment is different and every piece operates a little bit differently. So that's what the makerspace side is. It's a big open area where people can come in and use the equipment. Students, adults, craft makers, people that just maybe they have an idea and they want to tinker around with something before actually purchasing a $2,000 3D printer. They have an idea and they come in and start doing it and they realize, yeah, this isn't going to work. I'm glad I didn't buy that, that big expensive piece of equipment. So that is the makerspace side. The whole building, we refer to it as a makerspace, but it's actually, like I said, a couple different things. There's also the training side where Alleghany College has their advanced manufacturing labs and they have welding, machining, and industrial technology. And we'll show you those labs a little bit later. There's also the room I'm sitting in right now is one of 400 square foot incubator spaces for startup businesses that can come in and lease them and have a physical location, access to the equipment, and furnished internet, everything that they would pay for so that they could be here for up to 18 months or less and start their business. And what we kind of are looking forward to doing is bringing in small businesses. They grow, they move out, and just sort of have a pipeline of business coming through. And we also have a computer lab up front where people can do their designing. So that's in a nutshell. When I say makerspace, I'm referring to the whole facility. It's a
Sure.
makerspace partnership. Is Western Maryland Works a makerspace partnership? Is sort of the official title of the building.
Great.
That's everything that's in here. And once you kind of see it, once we start the tour, a lot of people don't necessarily know what that is. There's never been anything like that in this area. There's a facility in Baltimore called OpenWorks that's similar to
Right.
this. They modeled a lot off of, but there's not necessarily a full service comprehensive facility like this anywhere in the region.
Fantastic. It's a great opportunity. And maybe, and I know you've shared some of the benefits, but maybe you could expand on that. What are some of the benefits of getting involved with a makerspace, and who might those be that would benefit from the services that you're going to be offering? And, through the partnership, the Alleghany College of Maryland Advanced Manufacturing Program. Perhaps you can expand a little bit on that as well.
Sure. Um, on the makerspace side, we're looking at pretty much anyone within reason, not little kids per se, because some of the equipment could be considered dangerous. Some of the equipment is very dangerous, and that's only reserved for people that have had a training course. You'll see a industrial router and an industrial lathe that would be reserved for adults and possibly high school kids, maybe. That depends on the liability. But
Sure, sure.
what we would like to do is see students get involved, school
Right.
system get involved, and getting students interested in what we have to offer here. Because
Absolutely.
kids might not necessarily know that they could even do some of this stuff locally. And as they get older, maybe they have, business ideas that they want to explore once they get into high school, if they're taking college or training. So we do want there to be an education aspect to it with students. There's also, we will be working with React, which is the robotics program, and they'll have
Right.
a space here. And that's sort of the mentality that we're looking at, especially the students that are involved with that program, where they do programming on, on their processor, and they also build the project, or they build the robot, and the project is sort of full scale for them. So if you're kind of thinking of what that would look like, that's sort of the route we're going, is people that want to work with their hands and make something. So that would be one benefit. And obviously the other benefit is, adults, anyone who's looking to either expand on something they're already doing, or they have a new idea they want to run with and see how it works. And it
Sure.
gives people sort of a safe area to sort of try it out and see if it's going to work before the investment is made. Um, Probably, well, definitely the most significant benefit right now that we can see is, of course, when the Verso paper mill shut down last year
Sure.
in April, we weren't quite finished yet, but by December, we were able to have all the advanced manufacturing labs done so that Allegheny College could move in and set up shop, because they were able to expand their capacity to take in new students, and those students being the dislocated workers from the Verso. Everything in here is automated, so if you saw everything go back, just because I was sitting still and the light sensor didn't know I was still in here. Um,
That's okay. Mine might do the same thing here.
but the Verso guys, guys and gals, were able to use federal trade money in order to get retrained, and a lot of them are taking machining and welding and getting certifications in hydraulics and a bunch of different type of skills that are industry recognized credentials, and that's the main thing to look at. Yeah, sure, you can go and learn how to use a lathe or a mill, but if you don't have that industry recognized credential to your name, okay, that's cool. You know how to use it. What can you really do about that? So that's
Sure.
sort of the immense benefit. And then anyone can sign up for this classes.
That's
It just
right.
so happens the bulk of our students right now are the Verso mill dislocated workers. But anyone can sign up for that. If you sign up for an advanced manufacturing class through Allegheny College, this is where you would come to do your hands-on training. And they can go into the evenings or daytime. People can come in for individual study. Anyone that's a student has access to the building during its open hours. So that's a really cool part too. And then of course with the incubators, the benefit is to the community for encouraging entrepreneurship and encouraging small businesses and encouraging, since this is a county owned facility, Allegheny College is a tenant, so to speak. The county government owns the building, but
Sure.
that's a really good thing, because we also have access to uh, the small business folks like Mark Malik, and individuals who are able to instruct people, how do you write a business loan? How do you write a business plan? How do you do all this stuff? And
Right.
because of our connection with him, those individuals will also get that if they wanted to lease the space and do a startup. And then
That's
the other piece of that,
fantastic.
the
Hmm.
other piece of that is the benefit to the community as a whole. Having this available might not it might not even cross your mind to think about it, and then down the road something happens, you have to change jobs, whatever it is. uh, it's here. It's sort of a community partner. We've been doing just like we're doing today, and the tours and instructing, informing people to what we have, informing people to what a makerspace is, getting individuals really into this type of work, into more of a craftsmanship model. Not everyone necessarily wants to go to college. Not everyone, everyone has a different career path, and there,
Sure.
there's no correct path as long as you have the tools in order to make the path you choose the right one. And this is one of the tools that are available to the community to use.
I think it's wonderful. And all of the options and opportunities for our students, I'm so excited for them to learn about. You're right. Not every student is going to go to college, even though, the advanced manufacturing program is those programs are available through Allegheny College of Maryland, but it's not the traditional setting as far
Right.
as 2-year degree. These are certificate. You said industry recognized certification. That's fantastic. That they have the ability and the opportunity to take advantage of this in our community now
Right.
at Western Maryland Works. So on that note, tell us, before we start the virtual tour, quickly tell us, where are you located, and what website or social media addresses can people find out more about Western Maryland Works? And we're going to be posting this in the comments as you share it.
Okay. Um, our website is westernmarylandworks.com, and you can also see it on Facebook at West MD Works for the Facebook address. It's just West
Sure.
MD Works.
Okay.
Had to shorten it a little bit to make it so it wasn't so cumbersome on Facebook. So West MD Works, and so that both of those pages will have information on all of the equipment, because not all of the equipment is hooked up today and everything, but that will
Sure.
have information on the different programs, the equipment we have, and sort of the setup as far as what the business, the lease, the incubator leases are, and all that. We're located at 37 Lane Avenue in LaVale, which, like me, until I actually knew where this building was, I had no idea where that was at. However, you drive past it anytime you go to Fratelli's or the LaVale Post Office or FedEx. Lane Avenue runs off of National Highway down behind Fratelli's and goes all the way down past FedEx, and you follow the road all the way to the end. There are signs. There is a brown sign that has Western Maryland Works on it up on National Highway right by the turnoff. So it is marked.
Okay.
But sometimes you start going and you think, man, am I going the right way? Yes, you are. We're at the end of the road. And you can't miss it, because you will literally run into it if you don't stop when you get to the building. So yeah, 37 Lane Avenue in LaVale.
So I'm glad you shared that, because I'm a member of a volunteer on the React Robotics team, and we're going to be meeting there, which I'm sure, a lot of your community partners, such as React, you're going to provide space for them to meet and have events if need be
Right,
for
and
in the
that's
space.
something I forgot to mention earlier, and I'm glad you said that, because it's
Mhm.
actually a big deal when we were talking about a benefit to the community. We have two classrooms set up. One is like a 40 to 50 person classroom, and the other one is up to about 30 people, and they can be rented out or used by nonprofits,
Sure.
social clubs and groups, things that are somewhat related to the idea of being creative and
Right.
making and technology. I tell you, one of the groups that's interested in using the space when it's available is a model airplane club.
Oh,
Looking
nice.
to use that, because they have a lot of sort of technical stuff they talk about, and it can be used for nonprofits. I mean, we have a group that's going to be meeting here in October. That's just a nonprofit agency that needs a nice meeting area, and so that's also going to be available to the community. React, like we were talking about, those types of
Mhm.
groups have some place to go. So
Sure.
it'll also be sort of a meeting place, and a community, a community can come together here, or a club can come together here as well. So thanks for mentioning that.
Oh, sure, sure. I'm looking forward to it. And so now let's maybe start the virtual tour, and you can
Okay.
take us through and just kind of explain things as you go along the way. And I'll keep check on our comment section. If anyone has any questions, maybe we can address them as we go rather
Okay.
than wait to the end, just because if someone would have a question, what's that?
Right.
So,
So
all
I'm going to
right.
be moving my laptop around. So if I get a little wiggly or whatever, I will make it more stationary when I get to something to talk about. So right now I am in one of the incubator space rooms, and just to sort of give a look around. There's boxes and stuff sitting around, but it's a 400 square foot room. Right now we have our maker equipment stored in here because we don't want to leave it out on the open floor. Students coming in and out. We don't want anybody messing with it until the facility is actually, monitored and we can keep track of the equipment. But
Sure.
I'll start here. And if you can't hear me anymore, if I'm not really showing you anything, yell at me because I can't see the screen. These are our
Okay.
3D printers. And this printer is actually running right now. It's printing you can see
Oh,
there's
nice.
a filament that comes up the side and goes into this mechanism, and it's printing the filament and adding layers as it goes up. And that's eventually going to be a little plastic shark head. It's something that was pre-programmed into the
Okay.
program. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that's showing up pretty well.
Yeah, no, I can see it great and actually hear it
Yeah,
a little bit. Um,
yeah.
Speaking of your 3D printers, I believe you shared with me about your use when COVID hit. You were able to utilize the equipment at the facility to help with PPE, make PPE equipment.
Right. Yeah. Right. When COVID started, and we knew there was going to be a push for masks and face shields, we thought, well, what better way to learn how to use this equipment than to actually just start using it for something? So, yeah, if
Sure.
you go to the Facebook page, you will be able to see some of the equipment we printed out, or some of the PPE that we printed out. We were able to make the plastic part of a face shield that goes across the top and latches on, and then we got some clear plastic that you would hook onto that to make the face shield. So yeah,
Great.
we did about 200, a little over 200 of those, and
Wow.
each of those face shields takes about 35 minutes to print. And I was printing them in stacks of 2 and 4, and then they break apart like they're perforated, so they would break apart. So these machines got a lot of use during the first about 3 or 4 months of the pandemic, because we were printing a lot of those out. And you can see on the Facebook page what they look like and some of the businesses that
That
use
received them.
that equipment. Yeah,
Great.
so that fortunately, I gave them. We got rid of all of them, so I don't have any to show right now.
That's okay.
And
But it
they
was
were
nice of you to do that for the community. So
right,
wonderful.
right, and it helped me to learn how to use this equipment too, so that when someone's out here, I can just show them the basics of how to change the filament or do that.
Absolutely.
So that was also kind of neat for me. I actually had a part break on one of them, and I had to send it away and take it apart and replace it. And it took a while to get it because it was in Wisconsin and they were shut down. But I know how to replace the stepper motor inside of one of these things now, just because I had to. So, yeah,
It's
this next piece here is called a glow forge.
okay.
And how close I am, I'll back up a little bit. A pretty big machine, and it's really loud because it's got this fan down here because this and let's see what I'm pointing at here. This right here is a laser, and it uses a laser beam, and it cuts through whatever the material that is down here, and it can etch into it. It can either etch or it can cut, and it creates. I actually made. I can show this because I'm a Scorpio, so I used a piece of
Oh,
fiberglass
great.
or acrylic and put it in there, and was able to use it and etch it, and that's what it ended up looking like. And it cut it out, plus it etched it. You can do that on a large
Nice.
scale on wood. You can create products with that. So that's pretty neat. That's probably one of my favorite pieces that are here. We also have a vacuum former. It is not unpacked yet because it's a monster of a piece of equipment, and we don't want to unpack it until we know specifically where it's going to go. But it forms molds out of plastic so that you can mass produce. It makes a mold so you can mass produce a product. Uh,
Absolutely.
this machine here is a router, small router. Basically, you put something here, and it uses a drill bit to route through the material. We also have some vinyl cutters so people can make vinyl decals or vinyl, um, use vinyl to create things, and then they would cut it with that. And also some laser printers. We'll have those set up so people can print out other things that they're creating. So that is the one of the four um, incubator spaces. And
Okay.
I want to head out to the main area now and kind of start at the front and make my way to the back. And I'll start up here where the classrooms are. I'll try to do a wide angle view of everything so that you can kind of see what it looks like. You have to remember, when we first came into this building, it was a wide open warehouse. There was really nothing in here except for racks where they used to store the food before they would distribute it. So
It's been a work in progress, right?
yeah, that's the whole facility there. There's still some equipment
Nice.
sitting around. This wall over here was actually not a wall. I don't know if you can tell, but this whole thing was just an open warehouse. So a lot of walls were put in.
Great.
And hopefully I'm not going to interrupt anybody in this classroom.
So we'll get to see Allegheny College of Maryland in a classroom.
That we have set up.
Oh,
They've been
okay.
using it for testing. So yeah, this used to be a storage room for some of the products that they would distribute.
Great.
So that's one of the classrooms, and there's another one just like it. My screen went blank. I thought I went off the air, but I'm good.
Oh, no, no. You did kind of freeze there for a moment, but we're
Yeah,
good.
but yeah, that is the. There's another classroom just like it. It's just slightly larger.
Okay.
So we're going to walk across the hall to the welding lab, and I will show that.
Great.
There's no one in the welding lab, so it'll be dark. So I got to light it up here.
All righty. Now, these spaces are utilized by the advanced manufacturing program
Yes. Yeah,
students.
this is all Allegany College. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 welding stations. That's
Wow.
why they have these protective curtains up. But when you're inside here, it's actually where you can go in, and this is a grinder, and it's got ventilation that goes out. So it does get loud in here, but you can see it's all ventilated well. And
Great.
right, so this is the welding lab.
I have many students who are interested in welding. So this is a great option for them to pursue after high
Right,
school.
right, yeah, and like it's all accredited and get a nice certification. And this is the machining lab. There's a lot of machines in here. The machines against the wall over there are routers, large routers like the little one I showed you in the
Would,
room.
would you be able to show us it up close?
Yes. Yeah, I was just showing you the whole room. And this is a lathe that
Okay.
shaves metal. You can see the metal shavings, but it
Oh,
spins here and they can cut things into the metal. And there's a close-up of the router, the bits. There's a lot of those machines in here. I can't. When they said how many machines they were going to put in here, I had no idea that they were going to be able to fit that many in here, but they did. Now
wonderful.
that lathe and router, there's also one set up out here that can be used for the makerspace area. These two here will be set up for anyone to use after they take a quick course so that they know exactly what they're doing. And then this area over here is kind of pushed all together because we were cleaning the floors. This is where the makerspace is going to be. This is where all that equipment that was in that room is
Sure.
going to be set up on tables. So everything will be spread apart we were social distancing before it was popular. Everything will be spread apart, and you'll have plenty of room to do your project. And this is all our furniture. Like I said, we were doing cleaning and floor cleaning, but this is all dispersed all through the building. So there's collaboration areas and places where you can sit with your group and plan out a project or anything like that. That'll all be set up in various different areas. This is kind of cool. We'll have charging stations set up so that people can charge their phones and laptops. I'm trying to get a good picture of that. They're
Yeah,
just set up
that looks
around.
awesome.
And then this area back here is just an open area where, I'm crooked. There we go. Where we'll put, more equipment or anything like that. Like I said, there'll be areas where people can just collaborate. It's not horribly noisy out here. When all the equipment's running, it might be a little bit louder, but the makerspace itself isn't going to be too ridiculously loud. And then this one, I'm not going to talk a whole lot because there are students in here, but I'm just going to show you. This
Oh,
is the Industrial Technology Lab.
oh, great.
There's Mike Cronister. He is coordinator here with the Alleghany College program. You are on live with Carrie Pannoni with the Maryland Business Roundtable and Next Gen Scholars.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for
So
giving us a sneak peek.
yeah, all that equipment is there's electrical circuits and pneumatics and piping and stuff like that where they can, they learn how to put boards together and connections and stuff like that. So that is the entire facility. And like I said, the idea was to make a wide open area so there was plenty of room and plenty of space in order to, be creative and not be crowded around other people and sort of have your own area that you want if you want to use. There's another incubator space. And get the light on here.
Sure.
Maybe. There we go. So yeah, it's a pretty large space, 400 square feet. It'll come with internet access, phone access, a computer, desktop computer, desk, chair, and one of these whiteboards to have. So you don't have to put a lot of overhead expense into having an office set up.
Great.
No designated cost yet, but it's going to be, I would say, no more than $2 or $2.50 a square foot. So somewhere in the $800 a month range. When you think about it, the access to all the equipment and the access, you're not paying a phone bill, you're not paying an internet bill. So it'll be a pretty good deal.
It does. It sounds like it. Well, thank you so much for giving us the sneak peek into Western Maryland Works. I know you have a lot of things still in the works from construction projects, and not everything is completely set up yet,
Right.
but we appreciate you taking the time, Matt, and we appreciate Allegheny County government for allowing us this sneak peek into the Western Maryland Works. And hopefully we get the word out throughout the state to all of our many partners, and that they and our students and families can think about these opportunities, especially in the Western Maryland region, to have this space available to maybe start a small business, join the Allegheny College programs, advanced manufacturing programs, and other programs that they are offering to students. And like you said, the certification, industry recognized certification is key. I was just talking to a student about that the other day. It's so important to get that certification. So I really appreciate all of your information, and we've posted lots of things in the comments, and as far as links to your website, your Facebook page for Western Maryland Works. We also shared the link to the announcement from RMI, and congrats again. So for winning that recognition throughout the state. What an honor. And thanks to everyone who had a hand in putting this together. I know it's been a long time coming and a lot of hard work on yours and the former county administrator, Brandon Butler, and his vision and work with it as well. We're just very thankful to have this in our region. So, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any last final thoughts or anything last to add?
Yeah, the only other thing that I would add on, as part of the tour, you probably heard me talk about a computer lab. We didn't go into there. That's mainly because in the front of the building is it's concrete block, and we're still working on getting a good Wi-Fi signal in there. So I didn't want to go in there and lose a signal. But there is a computer lab with 14, I think, computers, and hopefully in the future, and there is interest in the area, we're looking to add in esports. So, which is a huge deal. Potomac State College and Kaiser has esports, but we don't have anything in this area for that. We've got a really good interest, and we have some potential. Again, with COVID happening this year, everything got sort of upended, and we had to kind of start over again. This was all happening before that. We have an interested party that might be able to get us some, good deals on computer gaming systems, and it would really be neat to set that up because that there's big money to be won and made by people who get into esports. So that's also another aspect. But we're hoping that here within the next couple of months, the construction pieces are pretty much finished up. We're just kind of taking our time with the social distancing and all that kind of the requirements that we have to do. But hopefully within the next couple of months, we will have things ready so that we can start accepting memberships and actually open the makerspace up for people to start using it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, Matt. Thank you to Allegany County government and for joining us today. This is Carrie Pannoni coming to you live from Fort Hill High School in Allegany County. And I just want to remind our viewers, we have some great resources through Maryland Business Roundtable. Our Way to Be app, which is free on the App Store for students to download and learn all about college and career information in a fun, speaking of games, a gamified app where they have challenges that they can win. And also check out our latest Way to Be magazine. The digital version is on our website at www.mbrt.org. So thanks everyone for joining us, and thank you again, Matt. We'll sign off. See ya. Take care.